Welcome back to Tuesday, guys. We have 3 vendors that just changed their offerings. They change every Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. So we're going to check them all out. First, we're going to start in the Scholarium. Then we're going to head to the Telvar Merchant in Imperial City Sewers. And finally, we're going to go to Infinite Archive, check out the offerings there, and then we're going to run a couple arcs of Infinite Archive to see what overland gear is dropping when you run this week. All right, let's get started.
The key when shopping.
First up is Bound Affix Script Enervation. Adds Enervation, a debuff reducing critical damage. Bound Affix Script Magicka Steel. Adds Magicka Steel, a debuff granting Magicka Restoration to attackers. Bound Focus Script Dispel. Adds a Dispel. Bound Signature Script Cavalier's Charge. Adds an increase to damage as ability persists effect. Okay, let's head to Imperial City Sewers. All right, we're now in the Imperial City Sewers, and we're going to talk to the Telvar Merchant.
This is all.
First up, we have our Auradon treasure map. Now, for 6,000 Telvar, I'm not going to recommend this. Auradon treasure maps are really cheap from guild traders. But if you're curious, Auradon brings us Armor of the Veiled Heritance, Queen's Elegance, and Twin Sisters. Also, you have a chance for leads for the Ancestral High Elf chests or bows. Okay, Bound Affix Script Heroism. Adds Heroism, a buff increasing ultimate generation. Bound Affix Script Interrupt. Adds interruption effect. Bound Focus Script Bleed Damage. Adds bleed damage. And Bound Signature Script Leeching Thirst. Adds a heal for percentage of damage done. We have our Farstrider Amulet and Ring for that set. We have Fragment of the Blind, which comes out of Bedlam Vale. This should be a guaranteed drop if you finish the last boss in Bedlam Vale. If dungeons aren't your thing, it is available for 25,000 Telvar. Our first lead is Biome Proof Plating. This one is for the Esoteric Environment Greaves. It comes from the delve in Vardenfell called Nuchleft, something Dwarven. You guys help me out with that pronunciation. Anyway, I don't think this one's particularly difficult to get. Next lead is Stoneshank Frame. This one is for the Oaken Soul Ring. This is the one that comes from Glenumbra ore nodes. I've heard mixed results on this one. Some people are having trouble with it. Some people don't. If you're looking to get Codex done, for example, and you're tired of running around trying to get nodes, it's available for 25,000 Telvar. And lastly, we have Necklace of the Century and Ring of the Century. All right, let's check out Infinite Archive. We are now in Infinite Archive. Let's see what he has.
You see this area?
We're going to skip books for now. So first up is the Canarthy's Roost treasure map. I usually don't recommend getting treasure maps, particularly for base game, not at 2,000 archival fortunes. But if you're curious, we have Armor of the Trainee out of Canarthy's Roost. We also have 4 different ancestral leads. We have Ancestral High Elf axes, belts, helmets, and staves. All right, our first script is Bound Affix Script Courage. Adds Courage, a buff increasing weapon and spell damage. Bound Focus Script Shock Damage. Adds shock damage. Bound Signature Script Wayfarer's Mastery. Adds improved functionality of skill line passives. Our style page is Night Flame Shoulder. Has the little spikes there. Ogden Night Flame drops from Elden Hollow 2. You're only going to be able to get the shoulder style page when the mask is dropping in that particular dungeon. If you can't wait, it is available for 15,000 archival fortunes. But I don't typically recommend shoulders unless you really, really want it, just because it's fairly easy to get if you can snag it during the right time frame. All right, companion equipment, light armor. Again, I don't recommend getting companion armor. It is bound, and you're at the mercy of RNG, what trait you get. Next up is the Dwarven Theodolite chassis. This is, of course, for the Dwarven Theodolite pet that drops in 7 pieces from Nuchlefting, the public dungeon in Vardenfell. At 7,000 archival fortunes, I think this is a little steep when you can buy it from guild traders for 500 to 700 gold, but it is here if you really want to just snag it quick. Okay, we're skipping books. Our first lead is Gilded Disc. This one is for Left-Hander's Aegis Belt and comes from the world boss Mornard Falls in High Isle. Now, if you've been doing the High Isle event that ended this morning, you may have already gotten this one recently. However, if you haven't, you might have trouble finding people to farm world bosses in High Isle now that the event is over. So for 5,000 archival fortunes, this one's not horrible. What is horrible is Torn Tapestry Scrap. This one is for the Blackwood Tapestry. But what I hate about this one is that it is a static lead. It is found in the gully southeast of the Shattered Zanmir world boss. You just walk up to it and pick it up. Do not, please do not buy this one. Just go get it. If you don't have Blackwood, you're not going to be able to buy this one anyway. All right, Malographic Ichor. Consume 50 Malographic Ichors to unlock the Ichor Most Malevolent Achievement and the Malographic Mount. You are guaranteed to get this drop if you do your dailies in Infinite Archive. At 15,000 archival fortunes times the 50 you need to get the mount, you are better off just doing your dailies. You're going to need to do your dailies anyway, pretty much, to get that many archival fortunes. All right, your Slayer's Onsei deck fragment. This is another one that you may have gotten because of the High Isle event that just ended, the Legacy of the Bretons. This one will be found occasionally after defeating world bosses on High Isle and Amanos. This is the Slayer's Onsei deck fragment for the Onsei deck. All right, and our books. Feast Among the Dead, Chapter 1. Nice, clean-looking book. We actually saw this book back in September here, but it drops from Infinite Archive. The eidetic memory is found in Necrom in Telvanni Peninsula at Mourner Solace Inn. So this one's a pretty easy one to get. If you don't understand how the eidetic memory works, there's a link below. This one looks just like it, but it is a different volume. We have not seen this one before, and this one drops out of Scrivener's Hall. The eidetic memory is in the Vile Manse Public Dungeon in Reaper's March, but the drop rate of these book furnishings from Scrivener's Hall is atrocious. So I do highly recommend picking this up now that it's available. All right, that is it. So we're going to run a couple arcs of Infinite Archive and we'll see what Overland gear is dropping. We just ran 2 arcs of Infinite Archive and we have gear dropping from Stormhaven. That includes Dreamer's Mantle, Night Terror, and Storm Knight's Plate. We also have gear dropping from the Deadlands. Remember, you will need the Deadlands in order to be able to get these. You'll need to own the DLC. Deadlands gear includes Eye of the Grasp, Hexos' Ward, and Kind Marcher's Cruelty. That's going to do it for this week, and we'll see you in the next one. Nacho Left Wing, NaNoWriMo Inks, No Show Cufflinks.